Let's Bo! Broncos rookie minicamp in the books, and Bo Nix was out there. We got to see it all, and we're going to break it down on the DNVR Broncos podcast live from the Toyota Lounge here inside of the DNVR Bar. The Toyota Lounge brought to you by your local Front Range Toyota stores, the official vehicle of DNVR, and we got Henry Chisholm, Todd Davis, you here behind the camera, and yours truly, Zach Stevens, rocking and rolling with you today. Fellas, how we doing?
Feeling good. Today's a new day, good day. Bo looks pretty good, so I'm happy.
It's a big day because we get to talk about the rookies, what happened there, and some really good news, I think, on that front. And then also, schedule release officially just over 48 hours away. Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Denver time, we get to find out the Broncos schedule, which means we're going to be doing a live show, 2 on Wednesday, 1 on normal time, 1 at 6 p.m., so you're not going to want to miss that. We were out at Broncos rookie minicamp this past week where there were 60, 70 guys out there.
57, I think.
It was a full NFL practice.
Yeah.
Todd, was that some normal for you? Like, were you typically involved in big rookie mini camps?
No, but that's where I got my start. You know, they bring in all those extra bodies.
Oh.
And, you know, most of the guys won't be there come, like, actual camp. But they're there as bodies, and maybe somebody stands out, and that's where I got my shot.
So you were a tryout player.
I mean, I don't like to call it that. But yeah, I was a rookie minicamp invite, and
wow.
That was it.
Yeah, that's a crazy part about this is what they've got 6 draft picks. They've got 7.
Yeah.
7. Yeah, Gargiulo. Yeah. They've got the 7 draft picks. They've got the 16 undrafted guys, and maybe 1 or 2 of them make the team, and then the rest of them are just rookie tryouts or veteran tryouts, or I guess a handful of guys from the practice squad last year.
Yep.
So of everybody on that field, 8 of the 57 probably wind up making the team.
Yeah, and under contract right now, there's 20 of them, just maybe a couple of over 20, and so sometimes Sean really likes to have these big practices where he brings in a ton of tryout guys because he's found the Todd Davises of the world from these tryout guys.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, no tryout guys this time got a job. Maybe they're still in the Broncos book if they want to call them later. But this was all about the star power, and that's the biggest takeaway for me of rookie minicamp is Bo Nix. He did not disappoint at all. In fact, he blew my expectations out of the water because the expectations going in was the rookies get their Wednesday or Thursday, kind of acclimate. That's when they get their numbers, do some administration. This is the first time they've ever done an NFL practice. They've had the playbook for a couple of days at that. And I got to say, maybe it was because there were so many people there. This just looked like a normal practice. And that is credit to Sean Payton for the way he did the install. Yeah. And that is so much credit to Bo Nix because not once did I think looks like a rookie out there. And you know what? I would give some leeway to if a rookie quarterback looked like a rookie quarterback. He never looked lost. I was blown away. Does that work?
No.
Blown away?
Blown
That's
away.
Terrible. That's
Bo.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was bodacious. It was
just good.
Yeah, it was just.
I think we gotta
it
do
was
something
more
else
than
with
just
Bo.
good.
It was really good.
We should nix that.
Yeah. There you go. I like that. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
No.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't have too much to say about it.
Oh my
like,
gosh! Speaking of not being able something to say, they missed everything I said.
Yeah.
You hear?
How many sentences?
Wow.
Say in the Toyota chat. How many sentences?
Oh,
How many
my
sentences?
Goodness.
Yeah. I mean, there were no like glaring mistakes. Like no interceptions. Like the throws on air were good. Like you could complain like, oh, this ball was like a little bit behind him. Had to. I don't really care. In terms of like the full team stuff, yeah, like the ball got out quick, went in the right direction. I think. If I don't think there was anything that could have happened where I'd be like, oh my God, he's incredible. And also like if he went out there and threw 3 picks, it'd be like, that's kind of annoying, but it's really no big deal in a rookie minicamp practice. But yeah, I mean, he went out there, he looked fine, looked smooth. Like the footwork, the way he's working with Davis Webb is kind of fun to watch. They seem like they spent obviously the whole practice together doing stuff. Yeah, it was good.
I mean, when you just say good and fine though, like he was everything you could have asked and expected
That's
for
fair, yeah.
going in.
Yeah.
Like, in fact, I think the biggest things I was looking for was just like, one, command of the offense. Does he look lost out there? Because I've seen rookie quarterbacks work at these. I saw Paxton Lynch, a first-round pick, go in and just clearly it looks like a rookie quarterback out there. And again, that's okay. This did not look like a rookie quarterback. There was never once where Bo went to the line of scrimmage that I noticed, where Bo went to the line and they kind of had to pause things or he had to turn back and ask Sean something. And again, that would have been okay because they're rookies. And especially at the quarterback spot, how much is put on a rookie quarterback is so overwhelming. And that's something that Sean said he was blown away from when they had that private workout with him was just Bo did not seem to be overwhelmed when they tried to overwhelm him with information. I wasn't able to notice that at all. So that was one thing. Just command of the offense, especially at such an early point. Accuracy is something that Bo is supposed to be really good with accuracy, not just with the 77.8% completion percentage that he had last year, which was at record for FBS. But he threw a lot of short passes. So it's like, okay, how is the accuracy truly in person? I was really impressed by it. It doesn't mean he completed 100% of his passes, regardless if it was on air or when it was teamwork. I thought his accuracy was great, specifically on downfield throws, and that was kind of one of the biggest things I wanted to see as well was how is he downfield? Because that's kind of the biggest knock against his game is, well, he can't throw it deep. And Sean actually said, all the numbers and analytics say the opposite of that. He can throw deep. I was really impressed with his deep throws. And then along that length is arm strength. His arm strength, I wasn't blown away by passes going 100 miles an hour, but also I never once thought like, that's going to be picked off when the vets are here, whether it was downfield, whether it was sideline throws. So I don't know. I saw all of that, and it met my expectations or really blew them away. That's why I am really, really impressed with Bo after this. And it was just one practice. And so you do keep that in mind, but that's all we have to go off of. I was really impressed.
I think for rookie quarterbacks, if you can come away watching a practice, especially their first one, and say it was good, it was fine, it was clean, that's a really good sign. Because like you said, that's not how most rookies operate. That's not how they, show their skills on day one. So for him to be able to put on a clean practice and felt like he kind of knew what was going on, I know there's a lot more that goes into the full playbook, but what they've given him so far, it felt like he had a good grasp of. And his touch was there. The accuracy was there. And so I think that was a really good sign moving forward. I'm not saying that it was absolutely amazing day one, but for me having seen a lot of rookie quarterbacks in their day one, I say it was much better than other day ones I've seen.
Yeah, definitely. And again, nothing really blew me away or anything. Just made the right throws, didn't screw anything up. But again, you couldn't have impressed me on that day regardless. It's a rookie minicamp, you know?
But you're always, I think you're hard to please.
Am I hard to please?
I don't know if wifey feels like that, but I truly feel like even with Alex will have a good game. I think maybe Forsythe and what's the guard's name?
Quinn Miners.
Quinn Miners are like the only two people who can't disappoint you. Everybody else has a really high bar.
Yeah.
Just like those big bodies, Todd.
Yeah, man. I think
I don't
that's
know.
it.
Like Vele had a chance at like a really crazy catch that if he would have pulled off like that, I would have been like, oh, there's like a play. But other than something like that, like I don't know. It's just tough in a rookie camp. I will say one of the things I was most excited for was just to see what it looks like when he throws a football. Because, you know, like there's some guys, like they throw the ball and you're just like, oh, shit. Like that guy has an arm. Like it just like pops off their hand. And Bo doesn't really have that, which was, I mean, I wouldn't say disappointing because you didn't really expect him to do that. Like just because that's a thing that Josh Allen does. Or like even like Flacco had some of that where just like bang, like right when it comes out, just so sharp. But yeah, I mean,
so wait, really quick with the arm strength, because I came in wanting to see gauge if he had true NFL arm strength, and I came away saying his arm. The way that I would phrase it is his arm strength is not a concern. But I did say like,
oh yeah,
it's not like he has an absolute laser. Where were you in that respect coming out of watching him throw for the
same
first
places
time?
Before? Like I kind of hoped that when he threw the ball, it just kind of do that thing where it just like. I don't even know how to explain it, where it just like pops off your hand. Like, I don't know if it just is spinning really fast, but there's something like that. But yeah, like you watch him play in college and it doesn't seem like he's that kind of guy. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely no concern. He like, again, 5-star, has all the physical tools, just not like a freaky arm or anything.
One of the things that you said, Henry, was you kind of pointed to maybe he was boring. Does that one work? You guys gonna let me do that one?
We don't want that to work, but I guess it sounds better.
Yeah.
So Sean pointed to kind of Bo Nix being boring, and I actually, Sean said he doesn't really want to use that word, but I want to dive into that because I actually think that is more than fine to be boring as a quarterback. But I got to tell you about our friends over at Shady Rays. I was rocking my Shady Rays out at Broncos Minicamp. It was sunny. And if you live in Colorado, we have 300 days of sunshine here. You need Shady Rays. And the awesome thing, I mean, there's so many great things about Shady Rays, but one of them, they have literally hundreds of designs. I got myself a pair last week. It's like the sporty one that you'd wear out on the baseball field. And I actually had a pair of Shady Rays like 10 years ago, and I broke them because I was playing softball and I was in the outfield.
No way.
And my glove just was too left. The ball hit square in the glasses, and actually just like popped the lens out. The Shady Rays actually lasted.
How was your face?
It was bloody, and I had it. This was like right before I started at BSN back in the day, and I had a job interview the very next day, and it was just right in the middle of my face. But my Shady Rays actually made it through that. But I got an athletic pair of Shady Rays, and I love it. But then they also have like. If you want to be like stylish, they have those type of pairs as well. And on top of all of that, they're going to give you 35% off if you use the code DNVR over at ShadyRays.com. We love Shady Rays. We know you're going to love them too. And they're already affordable. Then you get 35% off on top of that. Use that code DNVR over at ShadyRays.com.
We gotta get you guys in some self-defense classes.
No, not you guys, just him.
No, he's getting beat up by baseballs. You got beat up by some kid in your high school.
Oh, shit, that's right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? We gotta protect ourselves, guys.
Yeah, that's like, I didn't get beat up. If I was getting beat up, I would have swung back. I don't think I could get beat up. That reminds me, though. Oh my goodness.
Bet365.
It was. That's right. We gotta do that when this is over. Okay, Bet365. I've been making a bunch of bets, obviously. Mostly before all these Avs and Nuggets games. I'll just like take like a little parlay. So last night it was Nuggets to win the series and Avs to win the Western Conference. And so the Nuggets win last night, and it's like, I got an extra like 20% boost versus if I'd waited till after the game. Luckily, I loaded up a bunch on the Nuggets to come back and win the series when they were down 0-2. And
Was that plus 425 over at Bet365?
475.
475.
Yeah, so we got a bunch of those. So I'm feeling good. We're actually going to the Avs game tonight, and I'm not sure. See, the thing is, I've got so many of these going. I think I'm just going to wait. If something goes wrong, the Avs go down, then I'm going to throw a couple more bucks on them. But basically, because they've both been losing so much, I feel good about where those bets are. If you guys want to sign up, which you definitely should, you can actually place a $5 bet and get $150 in bonus bets. It's basically just free money. There's also a first bet safety net offer you can choose if you place a bet up to $2,000. If that qualifying bet loses, you get a matched refund in bonus bets. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. If you sign up, use the code DNVR365 and deposit $10. You can get either of those deals. Must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay. Now, so Marissa's birthday was over the weekend, so a bunch of them went and drank a lot. Spano came back. And it was for the Avs game. Spano was claiming that he could beat you in the bench press.
Yeah, I got like 2 random text messages the next day. So like you and RK, and they're asking my bench numbers, and then you're like, Spano say he can beat you in the bench. I'm like, there's no way.
He expanded that to say anything upper body.
Anything upper body?
Anything upper body. He expanded
There's no way.
I know there's no way.
There's no way.
There's no
Do you
way.
think he stands by it today?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's
Allie's saying no.
He's too confident. But he thinks like 225, he's got a minimum of 20 reps in him.
Okay.
Which at least would make it like he's not going to show up and embarrass himself. Like
Yeah,
if
that's
I
fine.
said that and then I did it and like I couldn't even get the bar up, then I'd look dumb. He won't embarrass himself, but there's no way he wins.
No way.
What do you think your number is?
I know I have more than 20 because when I do like my sets of bench, like I start off with 12 sets of 225 like as a warm up. So 12, and then I go to 275 for 10, and I go to 295 for 8, and then I do one more set of 8. So I think I'm doing high reps already. I think and those are just like, you know what I'm saying? We're
That's your
warming up,
warm-up,
and then we get to
Yeah.
work. I definitely know I could beat Spano any day, anytime. If we want to bet some stock in DNVR and ready to go, I think we should do it.
No, that's awesome. Well, also, if you were like training, like if you were saying like I just need to get as many 225s as possible, you get like 2 weeks to get ready. How do you even train for that?
Just a lot of high reps.
Yeah.
I think the best way to train for it is to actually like do the 225 test.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, everything else is just high reps. So, yeah.
You think? Have you seen Audric Estime, the Broncos rookie running back out of Notre Dame? You think you could beat him?
I would try my hardest. He looks like he just got done lifting.
That might be the one person that I might give the advantage, but everyone else you've got, especially Henry.
For sure.
Yeah.
You can't say it. Anybody else can say that. You can't say that.
I can outbench you.
I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not. But maybe.
I mean, if we got a big bench press day, then maybe we'll try it out. We can be like the undercard.
You know what? That would not be boring.
No, that would be fun.
But it would be a lot of fun. And so when Sean was talking about Bo Nix after practice, he was asked what makes a good a good practice for a quarterback. And Sean said location of throw. Bo Nix had 2 or 3 down the field throws today. And then here's the key. It's almost like watching a good golfer. Sometimes when you watch his game over 2 years, there's a patience to how he plays. The ball comes out, and I don't want to use the term boring. That's not the right term. But he makes pretty good decisions with each play, the efficiency of how he's operating, and all of that. And so he points to the word boring, says it's not the right word to use, but there's a reason he pointed to that word, and it's because it's something kind of around there. Then he pointed to efficiency. And I think there's nothing wrong with using the word boring when talking about a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think Drew Brees could be pretty boring at times. I think Peyton Manning was pretty boring in terms of what a quarterback could look like. Like John Elway, he was electric. He was making exciting plays, good and bad. Brett Favre, the gunslinger, is the exact same thing. Patrick Mahomes, he's definitely more of the exciting route than the boring route. But you can point to all-time greats and say, yeah, you know what? When you boil it down, like obviously 55 touchdowns is very exciting, but he wasn't. Peyton and Drew, they're not making crazy plays with their feet and throwing off balance throws. It's boring in a way. Their fundamentals are so good. They're doing the same thing.
Yep.
They're making the right decisions every single time. They're not putting them in bad spots. Russell Wilson was not a boring quarterback with the Broncos. He was not very good, but he was not boring. Boring doesn't mean bad. And you know what? That's kind of what I saw. It's just the right decisions. Nothing super flashy. Bo can still throw the ball 35, 40 yards downfield at the exact right position. But Sean didn't want to use that term boring because I think he didn't want to come across as a negative. And I actually think that's more than acceptable.
Absolutely. I think that's what you want. As long as the guy's making the right decision at the right time, the ball's moving down the field, and the team's going to be successful. Nuggets are finding their way, back into the series. I would say a lot of Jokic's game is boring.
Yep.
Like it's not Shea or Kyrie and everybody's supposed to. You ready right now?
He looks ready.
Spano coming down. He's popping out of his shirt right now.
I need a couple weeks.
He needs a couple weeks. He needs,
Only a couple
Let's
weeks,
do
so
it.
that's
Needs a couple
not bad.
Let's do it.
He has the energy for it for sure.
Oh, he's
We
got
can get
the
a
energy.
barbell and a bench in here anytime.
Here's what I need to know. Has your 225 reps improved since your pro day?
Yes.
It's
Because
He's better as a pro.
Yeah, because I'm not running as
I was
much.
hoping it was down.
From the number on pro day, yeah.
Then I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, well, because what was the story? You got 27, right? 25.
24.
24.
Yeah.
But before that, you did the 12 that didn't count.
Yes, I did 12.
You did
and
12,
they,
yeah.
And they were like, oh, no, those don't count. So I just sat up for like 20 seconds. I tried to take a couple deep breaths, and then I started over at 24.
So it was like a 25 plus, and
But-
now it's even better.
Mentally, it's getting a little more challenging.
Mentally challenging. Yeah, okay.
I love
Now you
it.
know
I
what the
love
target
it.
is.
I love it.
Wait, why did they make you restart?
I don't know. The guy
Did
just
you-
said none of those counted, but like I was at 12, like everybody's counting, and then like at 10 he said lock it out, and then I got to 12. He's like, no, wait, stop, none of those count.
What?
And so I got up, and I probably should have like let somebody else go,
Yeah.
but like I'm hyped up. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right.
Yeah.
I tried to take a couple breaths, and
Yeah.
I just got back under the bar, and then that's when I got the 24.
This was at your pro day?
This was at my pro day. Yeah.
Isn't your pro day supposed to you're supposed to have the people around you that help you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
The
clear
scouts,
this-
though.
Yeah.
It's always those scouts who
Damn.
come down.
Scouts, the mean scouts.
Damn.
you know
Yeah,
what
like
I'm
there
saying?
was one
Small
CU
school.
pro day where I think it was like a Steelers scout. I think it was right before the bench press.
Yeah.
You guys go through, and he's just like, so you guys just aren't going to do this? Because like there's like a dozen of us who just came out here just to watch this, and guess what? If you're not doing this, you're not good enough to go anywhere. So if I were you, I'd rethink that right now. Like
Wow.
they just bully them into doing
Yeah, no,
it.
they bully
Wow.
people.
Yeah.
And then I on my pro day, I don't know if a lot of people do this or even did it. Like just being at a small school, we did like the 120-yard shuttles, which like nobody does on their pro day. But you got to go like 30 back, 30 back, 30 back. And we did like bench press, we did field drills. We did that, and then we went into field drills. So I'm dog tired. I'm the
Yeah.
only linebacker.
Yeah.
And then right after that, we run our 40s. Like they were trying to kill me. Everything worked out, but
Yeah.
that was like that was one of the hardest days I ever had.
Damn, that's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I feel like I'm a guy who doesn't quit. Like I'm always like
I believe that.
whatever you throw on my plate as far as like what coaches want to push me through, I'm down. That was the first day I ever looked at this guy. I was like, hey, can we just take a break? Like I literally said, because I was the only guy out there. I was dead.
Yeah.
Were you
I
the
was
only
dead.
Sac State guy?
No, there was other guys, but like
They're focused
it
on-
was it was like so they were running me and everybody else was kind of just watching. You know what I'm saying? We had one other DB that was the only other defensive player, and then like some wide receivers. So like they were trying to kill me.
I'm sure the scouts were like, no, this is
This is normal.
really good for your character, Todd.
Heck no,
You're
that
like,
was
"F
it."
that. Get out of here.
Well, the thing is, like, you go through it and you're like, oh, this is gonna they're gonna love to see his person out, like all that sort of stuff. But then what happens is there's just like a sheet of paper that just has the numbers on it. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what the GM gets.
Yep.
Like it doesn't matter that you were like fighting through all that. Like George Payton has no idea there were another 12 reps before
But
that,
they-
and you're like,
no.
no, I got this.
Nope.
Just a sheet of
And
paper.
for the rest of my life, I have my CEO looking up my numbers like, I could do that. I could do that.
Yeah. Getting back to the boring thing.
I should wait really quick. I should
Yeah.
probably check out your 40, and I say I can do that.
But yeah, I guess my 40 was slow too. But the only thing I'll say about my 40 is that I was 255 pounds in my pro day.
Yeah.
I played my whole career between 228 and 232.
It's like a
So
double
it's a
Zach.
very different, very different.
It
meet.
is.
Yeah.
Because even I ran a 40, and it was 4.58.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like in the middle of the time of like before I came to the Broncos, I went to the Seahawks and did a workout, and I ran a 40. It was a 4.58, but I was 229 versus 255. Like,
Right.
it's a very
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
But forever, you know what I'm saying? Now Spano thinks
Yeah.
he can beat me in a race. Too.
I know that's our thing. We need a
redo.
DNVR pro day.
Yeah.
Where like each one of us takes an event, whoever we think can stack up against Todd, to see how much you lose
I
by.
like that. I like that. Well, there's only things for Todd to lose there. There's nothing for him to gain.
No, I
So if
mean,
I'm Todd,
I feel like
I'm
that's
just
life
checking out.
for
Or
Todd
he-
though. Todd won life.
That's true. That's really true. But
Won a
actually,
Super Bowl.
we're going to have to draw back to that when we talk about Audric Estime later today.
Yeah.
But then I think we're going to get into him later this week, too. But now I'll let you talk about boring, Hank. You know a lot about it.
Yeah, thank you. So boring in particular in that practice is a good thing when like there's no 2-minute drills, like there's no third down drills, there's no like red zone. Like you're literally like, we're running this play, they're running that play. Both sides might even know what play the other side's right. Like everybody's going like 80% speed, that sort of stuff. Like you want to be a little exciting when it's 3rd and 9 or third and goal from the 9 and those sorts of drills, but especially when you're literally just like running plays without worrying about situation. Boring is a good thing. Like when you're just putting the ball where it needs to go based on like what the book says you're supposed to do. Eventually a quarterback needs to do some exciting things, but certainly not in that practice.
Well, and I do think that Bo has the opportunity to be more exciting than a Drew Brees, than a Peyton Manning, than a Tom Brady, because he actually is. He is athletic. I mean, Henry, you pointed to he was the #1 dual threat quarterback coming out of high school. Oregon didn't rely on that. Now, he's also not going to be Lamar Jackson. Let's not get that mistaken at all. But I guess when I think that a quarterback can be boring, even in those 2-minute situations. Like, if you pull up Drew Brees or Peyton Manning highlights, it's just going to be balls placed in perfect spots. It's not going to be...
I know what highlights you're watching.
It's not going to be like things that make you jump off your couch.
Exactly.
And that is okay. And so, kind of to wrap this up on Bo from this week, I really am blown away in a way where you could have told me that this was the #1 quarterback drafted in the draft this week, and I would have said, yep, he lived up to it. And so I think people have been like, are you just putting this out here just to get us excited? No, this is how I truly feel about Bo. I think that Sean really did identify him as he can run my offense, and I think that's what we've seen, just his ability to pick it up, and I'm very, very, very impressed.
Yeah, I think it's good. And I always like wonder about like the strong arm conversation, because if you can get the ball where it needs to be, it doesn't have to be 90 miles an hour. And then I feel like for a lot of guys who have a really strong arm, like guys like Josh Allen, like the first 2 years, the balls are the receivers can't catch them.
Yeah,
they're dropping it. It's flying everywhere. Like it's kind of unnecessary. As long as you have the great accuracy and the touch to get the ball where it needs to be, I think that's all you need. As long as somebody's not throwing in slow motion, you know what I'm saying? That's a problem. But most of these college quarterbacks, the strength of their arm is not, a concern for me. It's the accuracy, understanding the offense, and I think from the first day at least, I think Bo showed that. So I'm with you, man. I'm excited. Let's see what happens.
And the really crazy thing about Bo, and maybe why I'm so blown away by that one practice, is the other quarterback the Broncos had, John Matocha. Matocha?
Yeah.
From Colorado School of Mines kid. Awesome story. He has a full-time job right now as an engineer in downtown Denver. Like,
that's dope.
He's set up, but he was the only other arm that they had, and he was very interesting out there. And let's kind of get into these other guys after I give a shout-out to our friends over at Coors Light. Man, it is patio weather today. I think it's like 70s and sunny the rest of this week. If you need to chill out, Coors Light is the beer that we reach for over at DNVR to take that chill break, because Coors is all about chilling. It is bottled cold. It is brewed cold. It is cold. It is served cold. And in fact, you know when it's cold because the mountains on the cans turn blue. And I'm wearing this sweatshirt. I was wearing it yesterday too, the Coors sweatshirt. People were like, man, that Coors Light sweatshirt is awesome. How do I get one? Probably just check out Coors Light because they've got so many cool things. We love Coors Light. We know that you're going to love it too. And if you want to get it delivered straight to your house through Instacart, go to CoorsLight.com/DNVR where they will deliver it to your door with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light and get it delivered by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
So this Friday is my birthday, so I'm kind of getting like ramped up for what I want to do throughout the day.
Yeah,
and
you're
like,
a young 31-year-old right now.
Yep. Soon to be 32. But I know for lunch, I'm actually going to be having Raising Cane's. I haven't set up my breakfast yet and haven't set up my dinner, but Raising Cane's will definitely be on my list for lunch. And because I love their chicken fingers, the Raising Cane sauce, the Texas toast, I might get 3 Texas toast just to celebrate the day.
Could like put
2
some
for a
candles in them.
sandwich. 2 for a sandwich and then 1, you know what I'm saying, kind of like dessert, savor on the side, because you can't go wrong with Raising Cane's. You know, we love our Raising Cane's here, and if you want their hand-battered chicken fingers, you can race the Raising Cane's. You can turbocharge your chicken fingers and get them even faster by ordering online at raisingcanes.com or through their mobile app. And if you don't want to leave the house, that's the perfect way to get your Raising Cane's chicken fingers. You can sit at home, whether you showered or not. You can have your Raising Cane's, enjoy your food.
I did.
Raising Cane's, chicken fingers, one love.
Todd, are you more excited for your birthday on Friday or the schedule release on Wednesday?
Probably my birthday.
Yeah.
Gotta be honest about that.
You know, it's so funny. I got a text from a good buddy today, shout out Lewis, who said, this is an annual reminder that I hate schedule release because we already know the schedule. And I'm like, yeah, I guess that some people do really hate the buildup of this. Other people think it's like the best day that comes in May because we get to find out the Broncos schedule. But it's kind of silly because we do know the Broncos opponents. We just get to find out when they play, when their bye week is, how many primetime games.
Yeah.
But I'm stoked for it, Wednesday night.
Yeah, I do. This morning they leaked that the first game is going to be Ravens at Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. And, I'm excited for the game. It's going to be an awesome game. But it does kind of take away from Wednesday night when, that's the number one game on the list. You know, that's if there's one game you want to know when it is, that's the one. So leaking all these out, and so you wind up with 10 of them before the schedule even releases, it really takes away from the fun of it, I think. There's way less shock value and all that stuff. It'd be nice if you're just overwhelmed with all this information. You jump on the show and you're just oh my God, we figured out this and this and this. Instead, it's yeah, we got the Broncos schedule, but we kind of knew everything else already.
For the most part, I think we'll know the big games.
Exactly.
The Christmas games will probably announce. The Broncos might be involved with only one of these games that we find out before 6 p.m. On Wednesday. And personally, I don't really care about the other games in the
That's
NFL
fair.
in terms of when they are and stuff. I just care about the Broncos. When's the bye week going to be? When, how many primetime games? When do they play the Chiefs? Kind of like what we talked about yesterday. So we're going to get into all of that. And if there are Broncos leaks before then, we'll talk about it on Tuesday's show or Wednesday's show. But Henry, as you said, there are 56 other guys out there at Broncos rookie minicamp this past week. What was your second biggest takeaway outside of Bo?
Audric Estime is big. We knew, we knew that beforehand.
We did
obviously.
go into the locker room after.
Come on, guys.
Oh, there we go. See,
This is crazy. Now, as players, we think you guys are looking, but now that we know, now it's
I'm not.
proven.
That's him. He's,
Oh, my God.
It is always interesting though, because with Estime in particular, so he was the 5th or 6th rookie, and so all the TV cameras, all those sorts of guys are just kind of waiting on him, and his locker is kind of toward the middle where all the media kind of just hangs out when they're not spreading out to go do things. And it was 5-10 minutes of him just getting dressed while half swarmed, people waiting for him to just put his shirt on so he can just jump right in. And for a rookie, that's got to be kind of crazy because rookies have never had reporters in the locker room before. I think the first interview was DeVaughn Vele. I think it was Parker Gabriel with the Denver Post who's hey, you got a couple minutes? And he's yeah. And so Parker gets in there, and then 35 other people swarm in, and so he's got the cameras and all this sort of stuff, and you could tell that those guys are not used to speaking to big, that massive of a group of people before. So for rookies, I mean, that's got to be kind of crazy. And then the locker room aspect as well, where he even made a joke where he's oh yeah, you guys ready? You guys need something like that. I can't remember what it was, but that is different for those guys.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you're right. He on the field, he is a big, strong dude. He might have the biggest arms on the Broncos already. And that, I have to imagine, Todd, is so unique because there's probably a massive jump that everyone takes in the NFL, whether it's losing weight, whether it's gaining muscle, getting faster, getting stronger. Probably a massive jump from college to the NFL because you're going from where this is, it's your full-time job, but you also have school on the side that you have to do, to now this is your entire job. And you're working out 2 times a day, 300 days a year instead of just once a day and things like that. So it really is a testament to just how big Estime is. And now there were no pads on for this, so we didn't actually get to see how he runs in between the tackles and how he reads and how he breaks tackles. But he joked that when safety would get in his face on the field, he would say, "You're not tackling me if we had pads on there." And so
like
he's
that.
a confident guy. He's big. And yeah, I mean, that's something that definitely jumps out in terms of like a first impression.
Yeah. I mean, he's also not that tall, which like we know he's 5'11", but then you go talk to him and you're like, you're this wide this way. You're like this wide this way, but you're not that much taller than me. Like he does look like, remember Doug Martin?
Yeah, for sure.
Muscle hamster.
Yeah, running back.
That was the thought that I had in my mind the whole time. I was like, oh yeah, like muscle hamster. That's like the vibe right there. Terrible nickname, but like it's wild. And you see him get the ball and like takes the handoff, and again, it's just like drills. You just run through that A gap, and you're just like, holy shit! Like nobody is tackling him alone. Like especially now, like if Ray Lewis was still out there, then sure. But in the modern NFL, he just seems like the perfect fit for all these little speedy linebackers.
Yeah.
Like just in the division, you got like Willie Gay, solid player. He's gonna run him over. Like Kenneth Murray, another like solid player. He's very versatile. He'll run him over. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
We don't have any clips of Estime on the field, but we do have one of him in the locker room, and even without a jersey on or anything, you can kind of just tell how big he is. Let's just hit this. It's just about a 30-second soundbite really quick.
Amazing. It's a dream come true. It honestly hit now. Like I got drafted. It felt good, but it doesn't hit till you get here, and I'm just blessed and thankful for the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, I mean, he's a full-grown man already.
Yeah. At 20.
Yeah, that's wild. To kind of move along, and my biggest takeaway, Bo Nix to me, especially at the quarterback position, was the best player on the field throughout that practice. The second best, the guy that kept getting my attention, was DeVaughn Vele. Is that how you pronounce it? Vele from Utah, the receiver that they took in the 7th round, the second receiver that they drafted. He wears number 81. He is like the exact same build as Tim Patrick. He's got like very similar strengths to his game as Tim Patrick. And this is a guy where I came away from this practice thinking he could be a top 3 receiver for the Broncos this year. Not just out of rookie camp, not just a top 2 receiver in the Broncos draft class as a rookie. He could be a guy that is on the field all the time. And he caught Sean Payton's attention. And we'll also get into Troy Franklin a little bit too. But one of the things Sean said, he compared him to Tim Patrick. I think he went out of his way to talk about Vele. We asked Sean again, the media asked Sean again about the connection between Troy Franklin and Bo Nix and how much that helps. And he says, I think it's kind of overblown. And he said, but actually, like if you didn't know that there was no previous connection between Vele and Bo, you would have said after today's practice that they did have a previous connection because with how they were working together. In those individual drills, which you hear just played some clips of, you can see him making some catches, but they were also making catches whether it was on air or in team periods. I am so impressed by this guy, and it's a coincidence he's wearing number 81 because of Tim Patrick, he said after practice, but I see so much Tim Patrick, and it's not just the 81, it's not just because he went to Utah, it's not just because of similar size. I see so much of Tim.
Yeah, I think that could be great for them. It's crazy to see that he shocked you more than Troy Franklin did. But it's something about those Utah players, man. I think we found success over the last couple of years with them, and hopefully this is just another cat coming out of Utah that can really help the team. So overall, I felt like it was a good rookie minicamp for a lot of these guys. So I'm excited.
Yeah. There was one. It was like a slot post. It's a one play in particular where I was just watching him, and you could just see everything come totally open in front of him. It was like cover 3, and the corner on the far side was like playing something underneath. I can't remember who was out there. And you just see him, and you're like, oh my God, there's so much space. There's so much space. And there's the patience, and it's right at the right time, just breaks, and he's wide open and catches a ball. And like, it's that sort of stuff where he is a good route runner. Like, and I don't know if it's like a feel for space or something like that, because he isn't like crazy quick or anything, but he definitely looked more polished than I expected.
Yep.
And it reminds you that the 590 yards or whatever he had at Utah last year.
Only 43 catches.
Exactly.
Both led the team, though.
It's not all that impressive, but like if you put Troy Franklin in that Utah offense and you put Vele in that Oregon offense, I mean, Troy Franklin's probably coming away with about those numbers, and Vele maybe not 1,300 yards, but he's putting up much bigger numbers over there. So, I mean, that Utah, like they literally, for those who don't know, they didn't have their quarterback last year.
Yep.
Like Cam Rising, end of the year before, he was a super exciting quarterback, like one of the top guys in the country. Came off his Achilles or ACL, something like that, never came back last year. So there's rotating through a whole bunch of guys who sucked, and he led them in receiving yards. So I'm definitely excited about him.
Yeah, and the Toyota chat's popping off right now, asking questions about Vele. Someone says Marcus Colston vibes, potentially, in terms of Marcus Colston was a guy that led the Saints in receiving his rookie season. There's Cortland Sutton's there. Cortland Sutton has not had a 1,000-yard season since 2019. It wouldn't be crazy for one of these guys, or a 7th-round receiver, just like Marcus Colston was, to have that. So I wouldn't put a limit on him saying that he couldn't do that. And then someone says, is he big enough to play tight end? I just said he could be one of your top 3 receivers this year. You don't need to convert him to tight end. He's good enough to be there, and he's 26 years old too. This is a guy where it's not a surprise that he's kind of ready for the NFL. Maybe a little more than a Troy Franklin or some of these other rookies, because he's 26 years old. I mean, he is that grown man's body already, and he's that maturity as well. So you're not moving him positions. He's a guy that's absolutely, I think, going to not just make the team, but have a role.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's 50-50, maybe a little less than 50-50 that he makes the team.
Wow. Oh,
Wow.
I'm like 90-10 that he does.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he seems to me, I see him in a very similar situation as little Jordan Humphrey last year, where he's practice squad out of the gate, and then you probably activate him for special teams early on, and then somebody gets hurt or he plays so well in special teams that you just find a way to, like, you promote him to the 53. But yeah, I mean, you've got 5 guys locked in, and then you've got him and Lil Jordan and Brandon Johnson and Jalen Virgil, and like I think there's probably like an 80% chance they keep 6 receivers and not 5. And then if him winning that competition, he's probably the favorite. But there's he's got some work to do to make the team for sure.
Interesting. So I'm curious then what you thought about him compared to Troy Franklin on Saturday as well, after I give a shout out to our friends over at Illegal Pete's. When summertime rolls around, man, Illegal Pete's is a spot I hit once or twice a week for their food, for their drinks, for their patios. They've got it all over at Illegal Pete's. Spicy Marg is the way to go. If you like fruity margs too, you can do prickly pear, strawberry, mango. They have so many different flavors. And if you like brunch, don't sleep on Illegal Pete's brunch. Not only is the food really good, especially if you love eggs, their breakfast burritos are great, but on top of that, they give an entire bottle of champagne with some orange juice for a mimosa for $10.50.
That's pretty crazy.
Insane. Like you go and get one mimosa and they're like, okay, that's $5 or whatever. And then like, do you just want to upgrade to the whole bottle? You're like, wait, 1 glass to a whole bottle for $5? Absolutely. I want to. So check out Illegal Pete's if you want great brunch, if you want great tacos, if you want great burritos. But the nachos is the go-to for me. The reverse nachos, some people call them upside down nachos, is where the chips come on the side and you just get to dip it in. So it's like the best chips and dip or chips and queso you've ever had, but with other things on it as well. I can't speak highly enough of Illegal Pete's. And they've got a new location in Colorado Springs. So they're literally all around Colorado. Colorado Springs, Denver, Fort Collins, Boulder. Everywhere you go, there's an Illegal Pete's. So make sure to stop by and get a marg, get a taco, and they also have beer as well. So check them out, Illegal Pete's.
And shout out to us and the events we do. We have a huge event coming up throughout the season, the Broncos season, and we're going to take a road trip to New Orleans this year. We partner with the one and only True Fan Travel for the best tailgate and road trip experience ever. The package includes road trip flights and airport transfers, a hotel stay in the Big Easy, a welcome event, and a meet and greet with us, the DNVR Broncos crew, and an all-inclusive tailgate party, transportation to the game, and your tickets to the Bronco versus Saints road game. You can make a deposit to secure your spot at truefantravel.com. Again, that's truefantravel.com to make your deposit and secure your spot with the limited tickets we have to offer. And if you know anything about us, we travel in style. We have a great time. It's a lot of drinks, a lot of fun, a lot of partying, usually a lot of gambling, maybe not as much. Well, there is a Harris Casino.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know if I've never been, but they say it's in downtown New Orleans, right down Bourbon Street.
I've been to that one.
And they say there's a pretty good craps table. I may or may not have won a couple hundred.
You're going to have to show us around New Orleans.
Yeah,
all
I
the
definitely
spots.
will. I definitely will. I got
Yeah.
some good spots, some great food spots.
Huh.
Fantastic seafood.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You've never been.
What's your favorite like Cajun food?
Like, what'd you say? Broiled?
The crawfish broil?
Like a crawfish broil. I like crawfish.
That's
I just
good.
feel like they're like, it's too much work for the meat.
Yeah.
Pause. It's too much work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's a lot of shells and stuff you got to get to before you get to actually enjoy it.
And they're like looking at you.
Yeah.
I don't-
Yeah. I don't eat the head. Some people do.
No, some people like suck the brain out or whatever.
Yeah,
The eyes.
I don't do
or a
all that.
delicacy.
Ugh.
But I do like fried catfish is always good. Barbecue shrimp I love.
Yeah.
A good po' boy.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with.
Little muffalata action.
What's that?
It's their sandwich. Ryan, you know the muffalata.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know, lots of meat and then
like
some
a
like spicy
sandwich.
sauce or not spicy sauce.
What is this?
Spicy
Is in New
pepper
Orleans?
sauce, olives. Yeah. I think it's
Oh,
a
I've
New
never
Orleans
had
staple.
that.
Yeah. Okay, but they were making me feel like I was going crazy over here.
We'll have to get
dang.
like some alligator or something just to.
I've tried that. It's
Yeah.
not bad. It's a little chewy, but it's good.
Yeah.
Let me
That's
guess,
good.
tastes
Very
like
chewy.
chicken.
That's what they say.
Everything kind of tastes like chicken.
Everything does.
Oh, it's really
It's really
swoop.
swoop.
Yeah, really
It's very
swoop. We'll make you swoop as well.
And then also you want to join us for the second annual DNVR Midsummer Open Golf Tournament at the Broken Tee. The Big Drive Energy Golf Tournament invites you to the Midsummer Open Broken Tee Golf Course for an 8 a.m. shotgun start, 4-person scramble brought to you by Circa Resorts and Casinos, Toyota, Breckenridge Brew, and Shady Rays. Head to thednvr.com to secure your spot. I'll definitely be in on this one. I wasn't able to go to the Scramble Day Mayo, so I'm not missing another golf tournament. And so let's have some fun.
Love it. Okay, so Henry, your impressions of Troy Franklin and compared to Vele at rookie minicamp.
I mean, I don't know. Again, like it's an 80% speed practice, and so the speed receiver probably isn't going to shine. You know, when the whole point is that like when he's sprinting and the cornerback is sprinting, he's going to outrun him. Like that, it kind of defeats the purpose, you know. So I don't think he had a bad day or anything. Like I didn't see any drops or anything like that. But it definitely. I mean, I didn't come away saying like, oh my God, I can't believe he made that play, you know?
Yeah, and here's running some highlights of Troy at this one wearing number 16, which, by the way, there was a little rumor going out that there were 16 receivers drafted ahead of him, and that's why he chose the number 16 as like this extra motivation. And I get that fans love that storyline, but whoever came out with that quote-unquote report, it's total bullshit. He said 16 was given to me, essentially. So he is very open to changing the number. I think he is hoping maybe that Josh Reynolds will give up number 11 so he can take that back. But yeah, that's a fun thing to say. That's why he has 16. That's not the case.
Yeah, all that stuff
at
is
all.
just kind of
Get out of hand.
exactly like every receiver like knows the 15 names of the receivers drafted in front of them in order. And it's like,
Well, there's one receiver that does. St. Brown.
St. Brown does, yeah.
Right.
But it's like the first guy who did that, and I can't remember who that was. That was like a decade or so ago. Like that was cool then. But now every person doesn't need to be like doing that. I'm not impressed.
And so that happened with a couple of other Broncos rookies, and Estime was asked about having 37. I think someone posted as like, it's a big number or something. He was like, no, it's just the only one that was left. So I took it.
Yeah.
He said I chose it, but the options weren't great. I think we had decided that like number 43 and 47 would have been the only other options.
Yeah.
43
Shout out
is
TJ
better.
Ward.
43 is better than 37.
That's like Darren
TJ did make
Sproles.
that number look good.
43 is
That's
not a
weird.
bad number.
43
Darren Sproles wore 43 and made it look good.
Yeah. 43 on the running back
Because
isn't
who's
bad.
37? Name one 37.
Sean
That was
Alexander.
nice. None. Name another one.
I don't even know.
There you go. There's one.
Yeah.
37.
Riley Moss switched out of 37 as fast as he could
Yeah.
after being given that number.
Because he did not belong in that.
The only number that you need to read into is Bo Nix, and we've talked about that. That was his number. Good on Zach Wilson for giving it up. So Wow, I did not realize that.
That doesn't do it for me.
So when it comes to Troy Franklin, like Henry said, it was like an 80% speed practice. There was one of those catches that he made. It was on air, very much just in a drill. He displayed really good field awareness where he was able to drag his foot in the end zone. I like to see that. And then there was one play that he had in team where he took a slant from the slot and then just turned on the burners. Maybe he shouldn't have turned on the burners because it was 80%, but that's where I was like, oh, damn. This is a guy, despite running a 4.4 140, which is really fast, but like it's not like the 4.2s that people get so excited about. This is a guy that could do that exact same thing in a game where he catches a pass in the middle of the field and then just explodes by everyone else and turns what should have been a 6-yard gain into a 70-yard touchdown. That's something that I think we see from him. But honestly, coming away, like Sean said, not knowing who had the connection with Bo coming into this, not knowing who was drafted in the 4th round, who was drafted in the 7th round, I would have told you that Vele was the one that was drafted in the 4th round here. And that's a credit to Vele. It's not a knock on Troy, but just right now, and again, basing it off one practice and some other things that we've heard about these guys, I wouldn't be surprised if we see massive flashes out of Troy Franklin, but Vele's the more consistent guy. He's out on the field more. He has more catches, but the yards per catch for Troy are a lot more. Maybe Troy has more touchdowns because he's able to make plays out of nothing. But that's kind of how I view them right now, and that's great to have that compliment. Sean pointed to both of them being able to play inside and outside, which is just so huge for Sean. He needs guys specifically with the skill position players on offense that can kind of do everything, that are or that have their niche as well, and that he can work in to fit in his offense and not just like do one specific thing and that's all they can do.
Yeah, I agree. And those slants are huge in Sean's game. So if he can, find his way to get on the field and take a slant that's had 5 yards and take it to 50, I think that's going to be huge for him. And he's 26, like you said. They say at 25 you get another boost of like testosterone.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like 18.
Henry's still waiting for that to hit.
That's not true. My beard got thicker.
18, 25. I think 25 is like your last one. Like big boost. So maybe, he's feeling good, ready to go.
Yeah.
Hit that. And he's ready to explode, like Zach was saying, on the field.
Yeah.
On the field. Who else
Also,
caught your eye, Henry?
This isn't a player, but the kickoffs.
Oh, weird.
So we can't say, obviously, like the tactical stuff, but that was one of like my big questions is what does this even look like? Like how do you align to return a kickoff? Like how do you? It's just a very strange thing. And one of the things that caught my eye was that I hadn't thought of this. The return team knows where the ball is going to, where it goes before they move. So because they can't move until the ball is caught. So everybody sees like it's going to the left or it's going to the right, which is just another weird little strange dynamic that you add in there. So you could almost call multiple returns. So it's not like we're returning to the left, returning to the right. It's like if the ball goes right, we can return right. So there's just so many of those little things. And I was actually watching that with Steve Atwater, who was... His mind was also kind of blown because we again can't get into the tactics of how they lined up because they really want to keep that a secret before week 1. Definitely a whole bunch of things you can do. Like, again, we talked about some of them. Like, do you consider putting a lineman out there? Do you consider because you're lining up 10 yards away from somebody, like, can Quinn Miners just go out there and blow somebody up? Like, do you consider double teams? Do you consider, like, pulling guys? So... I wouldn't say it's like crazy stuff that they were doing, but it was kind of the first time we got to see like, okay, there's like first draft of what a kick return looks like in this new world. And it's kind of strange.
And I got to say the Broncos have an advantage because they've got Mike Westhoff, like a great special teams mind. So everyone's supposed to be on the same playing field with these new rules, but I think the Broncos do have a little bit of advantage there. One quick thing on special teams too, something that I did not remember that they did at all last year, which they did this year, after I think right before they actually worked on like the specifics of special teams and kickoffs. One of the things they did was they gathered all the players and they said everything we told you yesterday about schemes and making sure you're doing the right thing and all that, that's all out the window right now. Pretty much F it right now. This is about competition. This period is about competition. And they had like kind of field day games, but not, they were football related, you know, like you run around these cones, then smack the ball out to create a fumble, then pick it up and run into the end zone. And it was all competition. They brought the music out, turned the music out, and I just really liked that. And I was like, this is Sean. Clearly, Sean's fully comfortable now with his team, his coaches, his players, where he is allowing the coaches to do their thing. And I love that. And it was different, and I think we're going to see more of that stuff this year as well. And it just created a different vibe. It got the energy up. It was all about competition, and you were able to feel that going through the rest of practice. Any other notes for you guys on minicamp before we wrap up here?
No, I'll just speak to that, like the energy shift. I love when competition is made like a part of practice and it's actually fun.
Yeah.
And like if you guys ever worked out with your friends or even like to really good music, like you'll do more sometimes than you remember because you're just kind of in the zone now.
Yeah.
Like we're having a good time, it's fun. And that's what football is supposed to be about. And then when you're able to compete every day at practice, the games are easy. You know what I'm saying? You just got to show up and do your job. I done gone against the best of the best and we done competed and I either won or lost, but I've continued to perfect my craft. And so now on Sundays, I know these guys haven't been working as hard as that. They haven't been competing like we have.
Right.
So that's what makes Sundays easy. So I'm excited to see the change, man. I'm excited to see like how this all comes together. And I think we're going to see like a hungrier Broncos team, you know, compared to teams in the past.
And they all have so much individually on the line too, like more than ever. Because I feel like the year you guys win the Super Bowl, you go into that training camp and you know of the 22 starting jobs, 20 of them are taken.
Yep.
That is not the case here. Like there's probably 4 on the offensive line. Sutton's job is locked up. Nix is locked up. So there's 5 or 6, depending on how you count on offense. Defensively, there's probably another 10 or so, 8 or 10, 8 probably. Like there is so much individual competition that really should just bring the best out of everybody.
Yep.
You would hope. Either
Let's see
that
who
or
the dogs are.
they just don't have enough guys who are ready, but that's the worst case scenario.
I've got one more thing, but I want to make sure that we get to our super chats really quick. So let's hit those. And if you're tuning in with us in the Toyota chat, give us a thumbs up. It really helps us. We appreciate it. Also, turn on automatic downloads over if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Really helps us. For some reason, they just decided to turn those off earlier this year. So if you turn them back on, it's going to let you know when we post our shows so you can listen to them right away. All right, let's get into the super chats. First one coming in from Triple G, who says, all right, Zach, after day one, you saw nothing in Paxton and you learned that day wasn't cut for, or that he wasn't cut out for this. After one day of seeing Bo, how do you feel? The complete opposite. Like he is absolutely the day one starter for the Broncos. And it's no joke, Triple G. I was very concerned about Paxton. Now, it also was my first rookie minicamp in 2016, so I was like, maybe this is a little normal, but it felt off. And then seeing Trevor not feel like that, Trevor Simeon, a 7th-round pick, being like, maybe this isn't the same. I feel 100% different from Paxton and Bo. When you come away from a practice and the best thing you feel about a quarterback is their arm strength, it's probably not the best thing. Like, that's to me, and me, that's just how also I evaluate quarterbacks. Arm strength's just like a cherry on top. You need the other things, and Bo certainly has those other things. So my final thing here, before we wrap up, I think Broncos Country is going to love this rookie class on and off the field. And the rookie classes are always embraced, but I think this is going to be one where they love this rookie class. Vele, Troy Franklin, Audric Estime, he is going to be a fan favorite. Like, when the moment the Broncos drafted him, people who had watched Notre Dame football just loved the way he played and loved how he bulldozed over people, but then he could also go high over people as well. He is such a good guy, too. People are going to love him. Obviously, Bo Nix as well. And then a guy that we haven't mentioned because it's really hard to evaluate pass rush in these practices, Jonah Ellis. Talk about a great guy. And obviously his dad's with the team. People spoke so highly of his dad. This is going to be a draft class that people fall in love with. And I think it's a great thing to have for Sean Payton and really his first draft class that he's been a full part of this for over a year. I think Broncos Country should be really excited for what this class is going to bring, not just this year, but moving forward. And really, this is Sean Payton's culture now, and I think it's a good start.
Yeah, you brought up Estime, who I agree, like super nice guy, super like high energy. I feel like running backs usually are kind of weird, and maybe I'm off on that, but like I feel like when running backs in general are just a little bit like strange. And he is not strange, which is a little bit
It makes you nervous.
Yeah, you know, am I wrong in that? Or do you feel like running backs just have like There's like a different personality to him.
Shout out to all my boys that are running backs.
Yes.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
But yeah, they're different.
They're different.
Yeah.
We've got speaking
unique.
of different, Taysom Hill, our final super chat to round us out here, coming in from Xavier, says, "Would you trade for Taysom Hill?" I probably wouldn't. I mean, he's 34 years old right now.
Yep.
No, I think Sean's got a new wave of guys in here.
Yeah.
You guys disagree?
I don't want him taking the snaps. There's too many other guys. I guess like if Dulcich gets hurt, and we'll knock on wood for that, like sure, but no, I don't have an interest.
Well, I don't want anyone taking your guys' snaps. It's been a great day. Thank you all so much for rolling with us. We're going to continue to break down what we saw and get into some fun conversations as the week goes on. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow on the DNVR Broncos podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.